not easy at all. Nope, I have no energy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is TM. To those who are new here, I'm a lead animator from Malaysia. I'm currently working in Passion Republic. We work on games. I'm also a part-time lecturer teaching in the One Academy. The course that I teach is animations. Well, from the last episode, I have two of my students here to support my channel. They share their perspective as an animation student, and I received quite a lot of good feedback from you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting me. I'll try my best to create a good content like this in the future. Well, today I am super excited to have two of my good friends here from the industry. One is Siew Hong, the other one is Kian, the one who taught me how to play basketball. Two of them got quite a lot of experience in teaching students. In fact, quite a lot of students told me that their class is amazing, awesome. I really want to learn from them, like what is the secret sauce, right? Well, previously I have the student perspective, but today I have the lecturer perspective. Okay, I'll try my best to ask a lot of interesting questions. So to those who are interested in such topic, please like and subscribe my channel to support me. Okay, let's get right into the interview. So without further ado, we will start with introduction first. Okay, Siew Hong, do you mind to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Siew Hong. I'm a lead concept artist in Passion Republic, and I've been working for around 7 years plus in the industry. And I'm also a guest lecturer in the One Academy now for around 2 years plus already, I guess. Yeah, and I'm doing freelancing on the side, and I'm training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the side as well. And yeah, that's all about me.
Ooh, a busy man.
Yeah, busy life, busy man, yo.
Okay, Kian, your turn.
Hello guys, my name is Kian. Been working in the industry for around 8 years, and I'm currently a lead modeling artist in Passion Republic. Previously, I have involved in some projects like Batman Arkham Knight, Shadow of the Beast, Mortal Kombat, what else? Injustice 2, and so on. I was a lecturer, not teaching anymore, but yeah, I was a guest lecturer in the One Academy, and I have about 4 years plus experience of teaching. Yeah, my personal hobby, I like to play basketball. Yeah, watch NBA. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, this one also busy man. So we are actually colleague in the industry and colleague in the education field also. We are colleague. So we are pretty close. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thanks for your support. I know you guys are very happy to be here, I know. But I also need to thank you all.
No problem, man. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
No problem. Okay, so I will drop down their amazing artwork, in my description. If you guys are interested into checking their work, make sure you check that out. Their art station and all. So we will start with some warm-up question first, as usual. I want to make this as my the whole culture in this interview series. I want to ask some funny question or some serious one also. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question really quick, and you have to answer quick also. Okay, you ready? So to avoid confusion, Siew Hong, you go first okay? To avoid overlapping.
Okay. Okay. Cool. No
Okay, the
problem.
first one. What's your favorite Malaysia food?
Char kway teow.
Nasi lemak, fried
Okay,
chicken.
that's
Yeah.
nice. I mean, I thought maybe you can promote some Malaysia food also. Okay, next. What's your favorite game?
Game. That's very hard. Witcher 3. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
God of War.
God of War, yay!
Yay!
Not bad.
Okay, my one is Red Dead Redemption 2. That's my favorite.
Nice.
Okay, so the next one is
Good game.
the name the one person that inspired you to do what you're doing right now.
Wow.
Hui Man.
Wow. Okay. That's nice.
He was the
Hui Man.
one.
Shout out to Hui Man.
Shout out to Hui Man. Yes.
I'll put the link below.
For me,
Kian, 1 minute already.
1 minute already. Sorry about that. I don't know. My father.
Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
good enough,
Not bad,
right?
not bad.
Because I do not
Yeah,
want you
yeah.
guys to overthink. If not, it would take half day to think of that answer. I know there's a lot of people inspire us, right? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
last question. Who's your favorite person in YouTube?
YouTube. Ah, yeah, of
YouTube.
course, Tekman. Tekman
Ah,
videos so nice, way.
I like
Who else? Who else? Who else?
Okay,
Just Tekman, of course.
joke aside. Okay, give me the real one.
I think Johnny Harris is one of the best. This
Johnny
is the first one in
Harris.
my mind. Yeah,
Okay, I will check it. I will check that out.
it's good. It's good. Stuff is good.
I have no specific favorite YouTuber. I watch everything.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't name one.
YouTuber, not really. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Really no
Well,
specific one.
it can be a cooking one. It can be a skateboard one. What also can.
I watch NBA most of the time.
Okay.
Can NBA be the YouTuber?
Nope. That's not YouTube. But never mind. Everyone get the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone understand the situation. Okay, let's get right into the topic we are going to discuss today. Okay, so
Let's go.
obviously we have to ask this big fat why. Okay, because this title here is about teaching, it's about education. I want to ask both of you, why teaching? What is the inspiration behind, or if there's any story that you want to share with us?
I think I'll go first, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I guess for me, in general, I just love to share ideas and share the knowledge that I learned from the company. Like previously, I'm just sharing within the company. I host like workshops, host sharing within the company. But then I felt there's only so much I can share within the company because our company only have like 100 plus people, right? And that's so much I can share. So it kind of makes me think a little bit more like, what if I can share more outside of the company, right? And it's going to be more meaningful to the student as well, because we are actually learning things with the industry. And I think giving it back to the student will help them integrate into the studio immediately after they graduate as well. So that kind of sparked an interest, like, hey, I can start teaching in the school, right? And then at the same time, I saw a lot of students that graduate back then. Their understanding in design is not really up to par, in a sense, like certain principles they are still don't really understand here and there. So I felt like, there's a gap there to fill. So I felt like, why not I be the person to fill the gap instead of like complaining, how come the student don't know this, how come the student don't know that, right? So instead of being the one complaining, why not I do the job? So that's how I ended up applying as a lecturer and teaching doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. And at the same time, I think concept artists in Malaysia is compared to like 3D artists or animator, I think concept artists is the lowest amount compared to these two departments. So I felt like, yeah, like sometimes if you want to, I think all of us know, like, when we want to hire concept artists, it's really hard to find in Malaysia. So I guess being me teaching there, at least I can help, spark an interest in the students. So a lot more students will want to be interested in the concept artist role. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I teach.
So it started with a very simple reason. I just want to share.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice. That's pure enough.
Thank you very much.
Mikian?
What about you, Minkin?
Okay,
Yeah.
so for me, I think education is the root of building everything. From when you want to build anything, for example, a country, the industry, even company, a team, I think investing in people, which is education, is the most direct way of investing. But that is not easy, because the biggest challenge of investing on people is it won't give you a direct reward or result. That's why in so many different countries they have a different investment instead of giving on the education. And I hope that I can give a little bit of my power on this education, and so-called my investing my time okay, in this industry, and the younger generation hope that to elevate and also make our industry getting better. Yeah, that is the main reason why I teach.
Investment. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I guess no one will ask me this question, but I will still answer this question myself. I mean, mine was very simple also lah. I still remember during the secondary school, I am not so good in studying, but I know that I have to join into the one academy. For some reason, I don't know why I know that answer already, and I know that I need to have certain credits in order to join into the school. So and I have this laser focus in focusing on a few subject in my SPM test. So because of this laser focus, right, I kind of shocked my parent a lot. Like, wow, this guy suddenly studying throughout the whole student life. I never see my son studying. So I studied quite hard on mathematics, and for some reason I got the format and whatever thing. I got A1 and all. And I started teaching my friend because my friend, hey, teach me. I'm like, okay, I'll teach you these few tips. Very nice one. You follow, you'll pass one for sure. So my friend really passed the mathematics. And from them, like, whoa, okay, that is nice. That feels really good. So when I first started in working in the industry, it's just automatically I have this feeling of sharing with people. The success from me, I would love to share it with people. I never really think of as like a secret or whatever. I just hope that I can share this success with more people. And then when I only have like 2 to 3 years of experience, I started teaching already. I think that is just that's me lah.
That friend must be really appreciate you.
Yeah,
That's my best
Are you
friend.
guys still friends?
His name is Jia Hui. He's my best friend.
Not bad. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I know that everyone here, we have quite some teaching experience already. We've been dealing with students in. Mine is a 3rd year. Siew Hong's one is 2nd year.
3rd year, 1st semester.
Oh, okay. So 3 of us, we are teaching the same batch lah. Most of the time.
Yeah, 3rd year.
So I want to know that what is your biggest challenge in teaching? I noticed this question. Not much people ask one. Right? Usually people ask student, or sometimes they don't even ask student. But to me as a lecturer, I face a lot of challenges. But I want to learn from you guys.
I think my biggest challenge is catering different kind of teaching techniques to different students. Because like for me, I understand like not every student learns in the same way. Some students learn faster, some students learn slower, right? And then some students are really hardworking, but they don't really work very smart compared to certain students. They work very smart, but they're not very hardworking, right? So everyone has a different style of learning. So I think the biggest challenge is how do I cater a different way of explaining to different students? Because I don't believe in one size fit all when it comes to like, education. So even though like I'm teaching the same subject every semester, right? But I feel like every time I come into the class, the vibe is different because the students are different. So I think that is the biggest challenge. I think until today, I'm still trying to figure out like how do I properly cater to every student. So I think this will be a challenge for me throughout the whole journey as a lecturer. So yeah, I think catering specific way of teaching student is one of the biggest challenge for me.
I think that's the fun part also, right?
Yeah, that's the fun part. It's like solving equation, right?
Yeah, it has to be organic.
Yes. Yes.
What about you?
What about you, Minkin?
Yeah. In my opinion, my personal opinion, okay, the biggest challenge would be how am I being fair to everyone, among so many students in the class. There are so much factors, like Siew Hong say, some is a slower learner, some is a fast learner, some is very talkative, some is more introvert. There's so many factors, right? But most importantly is how much time they spend on your assignment. And yeah, that is the very big challenge for me. Some students that spend a lot of time, obviously spend a lot more times than the others. Then should I spend more time on that particular student or not? All right. So that is considered my biggest challenge, because as educator, I try my best to being fair to everybody, so I hope that I my fairness would not affected by these
Fairness.
their time of investment on the assignment only. Okay, so that there's too many factors here. So yeah, that is my biggest challenge, I would say. How to balance the fairness towards all the students.
Minky, when you say fairness, like what type of fairness? You mean the time spent on student or the thing that you teach to each student?
I think it's not the things that we teach to the students. To every students, I teach the same way, but I think it's the time. It's the time that you give them, the time that you critique their work, the time that you really share a lot. Some students, when you critique, they just ask a lot of questions. Some students will just quiet all the time. So definitely in that, there must be some difference, okay, of how you spend time on each of them, right? So that might feel a bit unfair when when you really spend a lot of time on that particular student. When he has a lot of questions, he spend a lot of time on that on your assignment.
Right.
Yeah, right. So as educator, that consider my biggest challenge, because I hope that I can balance to being fair to everybody. But of course, in this world, there's no definite fair, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, that is really hard.
Okay. But my own challenge is to switch my role in working and also teaching. So I that was my challenge back then. Now kind of fixed a little bit because we are working from home. Basically, I didn't change anything. I didn't change my shirt. I didn't do anything. I just changed the PC to like, okay, work now. Okay, teach now. Work, teach, work, teach. So it's kind of blend in a little lah. But back then, my biggest challenge is to switch my my way of thinking, switch my way of talking. Why I say I want to teach here, because when we talk to students, right, we are not submitting the work to client, right? We are basically pushing their personal potential. Right? We're not submitting this to whatever AAA games client. So the stress level will have to turn down a little bit. Sometimes I notice myself, I forgot to turn it back. So when they show me their work, I got super angry. No, this one we cannot submit to client. Be like, no, this is a school. I'm like, oh, okay, oh, this is a school, all right. So suddenly I set the bar like really, really high. So that is my biggest challenge, though. And in opposite way also, sometimes when I go back to the productions, I'm like, okay, this is fine. Yes, this is good. This is it. The senior will be like, what? You passed this, TM? That's my biggest challenge. So my solution is what, when we work, when we still working, I'm sure not sure you guys still remember that feeling or not lah. Working in a physical studio, we have to wear a lanyard, right? I treat that lanyard as my reminder. So when I wear this lanyard as a production, I'm like, okay, so now I am not teaching. Now I have to be a lead animator in this studio. So I take away, go to teach, put on this black color, the One Academy tag. I'm like, okay, I'm a lecturer now. Okay, all right. That's how I run myself lah. Oh, but then, so I mean, we've been teaching for quite some years. We met a lot of different type of students.
Yeah.
Besides knowing the challenge, can you share with us like what is your worst moment in the teaching, and also the best one lah? Okay.
I think let's start with the worst lah.
Okay.
For me, I felt like worst is like a really strong word. For me, I felt there isn't like a worst moment, like because worst is like really, really terrible, right, a student. So I don't think there is a worst moment. But I guess there are some challenging moments, but they're not the worst. So I guess the challenging moment would be like everything in combo where like students are not responsive, they don't talk a lot. At the same time, they're not interested in the subject, and then at the same time, their work is not really good. So I think when these three things combine together, everyone in the same class, I felt like that's the most challenging moment in my teaching career. So yeah, I felt like that's like like quote unquote the worst lah, because I have to try really, really hard to like make them excited for the class, make them excited for the assignment, it really feels like You know how it feels like, like when you go on a date with a girl, you try really hard to talk to her, and then her response is just like, okay, okay,
Right.
cool, yeah, understand, so that's how I feel, it's like, oh gosh, it's just really really stressful, so every day before the class I have to like prepare materials, make sure I make the class a little bit more interactive. I guess that's like the most challenging moments in my class, in my time span as a lecturer. And I guess the other way, if let's say I felt like a worst case scenario that might affect my moments in the school. I mean, this have never happened before. Hopefully, it never happened. That in my imagination would be like my teaching method is restricted by a lot of like really strict rules that is not meaningful for the students, right?
Right.
Maybe suddenly out of nowhere the college say like, oh, you have to follow this syllabus, you cannot change anything at all. Then I'll be like, crap, then that's not the way I'm gonna teach, right? That's not meaningful for students. So I felt like if there's a worst case scenario, I think that would be the worst. I mean, but I'm really thankful that haven't happened yet, lah. Yeah.
Right. Totally agree.
Uh, right. Yeah. So I guess the best one will probably be building relationship with the students. Like there are a few classes where the classes are really interactive, right? The students are really enjoying the subject, and even after they finish my class, we are still friends. We're still chit chatting here and there, and then sometimes we even like have like a Discord call, right? And then some of them eventually join our company as well, and there's like a group of friends there.
Mm.
So I think that's like the best moment for me, like building a relationship, like what Minken mentioned, building people, right? So for me, when I'm teach, yes, I enjoy sharing, but at the same time, I also enjoy building friendship with my students, right? So things are a little bit more meaningful. It's not just like you come in there and it's like, here's the knowledge, ciao, bye bye. It's not
Right.
like that. It's really just come in. How can I help you? Like, and if in the future you have any more questions, you can ask me again. I can still help you out. And if let's say sometimes I don't know things, I can also ask you for help, right? So it's really about relationship. I think that's like the best case scenario for me. Yeah, the best moment in my teaching career.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we have about like a similar uh worst and best. Yeah, we we as a lecturer we face the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, my worst one, not to say worst, like Siew Hong said, there's a no worst. It's considered like a very terrible one, but also a challenging moment. Uh, I think will be similar to Siew Hong. Students are being less interactive. You know, that the worst case is when when you're teaching online, like virtual call, no webcam, no voice
Yeah.
at all. You're just like talking to the screen, and then after you ask certain question, they're being silent for maybe like um 10 seconds, 15 seconds, then only they say okay. That is really feeling bad. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really a very hard and a very challenging moment for me. um and also another scenario that I had before is when students, in a semester, 14 weeks, right? um at the beginning, some students will learn very fast. They adapt very early. Okay, they learn it very fast. Some they learn it, uh, they started to get what you want at the middle of semester. Some they are getting it a bit late, right? But the worst one that I had before is like the whole class that couldn't get what I want until like very late of the semester. They still couldn't get it. That result, kind of make me feel like, is that I do not enough? Yeah, that kind of feeling lah for me, at that moment. Yeah, that will be my worst scenario lah. The best
Mm.
one is, always at the final presentation, when you sit at the back seeing their presentation, um showing good result. Okay, that's the best moment, of course. But most importantly is seeing their growth. Their growth, not just on skill. Is about the growth of their individual, their mindset, their attitude. You can see their growth. So yeah, that will be the best moment. and also like eventually they become our colleague. We have a lot of our colleague was our students, right, back then.
Yeah.
That is really amazing, as a lecturer. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I totally agree with like both of you. Because to me, building relationship is a strong word that really reminds me on how I teach, right? Because obviously we the way we go to school, in the primary and the secondary, we have to respect our lecturer, respect our teacher and all. So we kind of have this level, the hierarchy level. This is the lecturer. Okay, I have to respect, and I don't dare to ask the teacher anything, even though I have a lot of questions. I have problem. I don't dare to ask the teacher, but I find it maybe now the time is slightly different a little bit. The whole generation is slightly different. Everyone know, and I have this in mind. If I just come here. I want to build a relationship with my student. I never really thought that I am higher than them. And when I teach, most importantly, I'm not trying to show off who I am. I'm not trying to show off how good I am, because whatever I do, for sure the student will be wow, for sure already one. So there's no need for me to show my ego to people. So why not I be their friend? Why not I be, I talk slow to them, I talk soft to them. The whole point is to transfer my knowledge to them. That's the whole point of teaching. And in a way, we are building a good relationship. Who knows, right? Maybe one day they become a big boss, right? They can hire us. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I always talk to my students. Hey, when you become big boss, or you hire me, okay? That's how I connect with my student. That's a really good
really.
insight from both of you.
Yeah. That's what I always say, being lecturer here, I'm not just teaching you something, but at the same time I'm learning something from you guys. Really learn a lot from students as well. Some students that inspire us. Their way of their passion towards the work, and then they are very hardworking. They're really obsessed with that. That inspire us a lot as well, right? We work in the production. We are keep on doing work every day. Sometimes as students really refresh our mind as well. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yes, Siew Hong.
Actually, just now when Min Kian was talking about his worst experience when he found out student reply very slow on the webcam chat, right? It kind of reminds me of a moment where what happened was the student was presenting her work, right? And then she forgot to off her share screen after the presentation. Then she immediately moved her screen to watching her friends playing Gatik phone. Then I was like, God damn, the whole class you're playing Gatik phone when I'm teaching. I think that was I don't know how. Cause my sister is studying at home, right? So I can see how she study. When lecturer is teaching, she's just watching drama on the side, going away, and then the class is still ongoing on laptop. So for me, I was trying to think maybe my students is not like that. But when it happened like that, okay, never mind.
But that's a very interesting one. How you guys deal with this type of student?
I think for me, I normally I won't scold them, but I'll just make fun of them. I was like, hey, what are you guys doing, right? Can you pay attention? Then maybe I will try to catch them sometimes. Maybe I talk, then halfway it's hey, what did I say just now? Can you remind me again? Then they'll be like, then I'm not listening, and then I'll repeat again.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually that's what I do. I won't call them out and make them feel bad, but I like to make fun of them.
Yeah.
That's the
Just
way.
be friendly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my way is when I teach, right? I will say, okay, so this is the best tip ever, guys. This is the best tip ever. So you have to listen. If you didn't show this in your work, I know that you're not listening in my class. But then the way I see things, right? I know they are not focusing. If you ask me, I can't. Me myself also, I can't focus 2 hours on my screen, right? For sure, right? The Chrome is just so near my mouse. I can just click my Chrome. I can do whatever I want. So I treat it as a norm, because I know that nowadays we have recording class, right? The class is recorded, right? The notes is recorded. Everything is recorded. You can use your own time to watch back the playback lah. So I think it is okay also lah. So now even no one is answering me, I'm fine lah. I treat it as a challenge lah. I treat myself as a streamer. I try to make people
engaging, like interactive, ask some stupid questions, But it's really fun, to be honest. It makes myself happy also.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Actually, the worst moment, actually, I really want to share this because I had a really bad moment. That was when my wife is giving birth. I still remember that. When my wife is giving birth, we have to go back to Ipoh. I'm a Ipoh Langa. Okay. So I have to travel back to Ipoh, then give birth already. There's a lot of things happen after give birth. Then I have to come back to teach, Back then, online school is not a thing yet, okay? So I have to rush back, and then everyone worried about me driving alone, back to KL to teach. So the first time I drive, my mom have to follow me. She worry about me. So I have to teach. Once I finish teach, I have to go back directly, have to take care of the newborn and all. That's crazy. And then the next time I have to take train. I have to take train already, and it's quite mafan. I didn't really ask myself, why am I doing this? Why can't I just stop teaching? I never asked myself this question. I'm like, this is my responsible. I never asked myself why I can't teach. I was just like, okay, I need to teach. No matter what happened, I need to teach this bunch of people for some reason. Okay. And then somehow I have to talk to the school, hey, can we do online teaching? So then the school approved that. I super appreciate that to the school. That is actually my first online teaching experience. It's not the pandemic, and it's quite a bad experience. No experience in teaching online that time. That's my worst one. It's like really tiring. Okay, so we talk about teaching method. Okay, I want to learn some secret recipe from both of you, like how you guys teach. Siew Hong mentioned about okay, I have to cater to different type of student. Ming Kian mentioned, I'll use the same method to teach the student. Okay, can you further elaborate that?
I think there are a few key points for me when it comes to like teaching. Like for me, when I come into the class, I'll make sure that I'm coming in like what you guys all mentioned just now. Like I'll make sure that I come in as not a lecturer that is very higher up, and then you guys are just peasants and stuff like that, right? So I make sure I come in the attitude of like, I'm here to help you guys, and I also at the same time I can learn from you guys, right? So to create like a rule set first, to let them know like I'm here as a friend, right? I'm not here to judge you or anything, right? So how do I create that sense of like comfortable environment? Is like, I love, because I always notice students call lecturers sir or lecturer, right, or teacher, right? So I always find that very cringy, right? For me at least for me I find why you call me sir? Like I'm not very old. I'm still very young, right? So I kind of when I come to the class, I'll say like, this is rule number 1 in my class. The only rule in my class, you cannot call me sir. Just call me Siew Hong, right? And then because I understand students has been very used to calling lecturers sir, so every time they'll be like, sir, sorry, Siew Hong, right? So then I'll make fun of them, right? Then they'll feel a bit more comfortable, because I believe that words has a very powerful function behind it, right? Calling someone sir and calling someone with their name can differentiate someone's psychology to cater the way they treat you or cater the way they talk to you, right? So when they talk to you, like call you based on your name, I feel like they'll be more comfortable, like they see you as a human being, not seeing you as someone superior, right? So that's like the first thing that I always set in my class. Yeah, and then I think my friend, my first batch of my student, they even make this T-shirt for me and just say like, don't call me sir. Yeah, I'm still keeping it until today. Yeah, so shout out to that class. Yeah, and then I guess the other thing would be, whenever I teach, I'll make sure that the methods I teach are not they are not too, how to say, they are not too like I mentioned, like how do I cater with every student is I teach in principles. So principles can be applied in a very general rule, right? It's not like if you are someone who is introvert, then only use this technique, right? Principle can use in different kind of people. So like for example, maybe this will be a little bit more technical. Like let's say for comes design, right? I'll say like big masterclass, yeah. Snippet. Yeah, I'll say like big, medium, and small, right? So everything works big, medium, and small, right? In design, you need to have big, medium, and small to create sense of scaling, right? In modeling, also you need big, medium, and small, right? In animation, I'm not too sure, because I'm not really familiar with animation. But I guess at the same time, big, medium, and small works in life as well, right? When you need to prioritize something big, when you need to prioritize something medium, and when you need to prioritize something small. And you need all three of them. And so I always teach them based on this. Like I try to give them analogies, right? How does this principle work in design? At the same time, it also work in your life, right? Observation as well. Like when you observe design, you need to really study things. Like same goes with your life, right? If let's say you have a girlfriend, right, you need to start observing what do they like, right? What are their daily habits, right? Do they check their oil? You need to help them check their oil, right? Do they check the tire, right? You need to make sure everything. So all these observation things works in real life, at the same time it works in design. So I always try to break things down in principles, right? Yeah, and then I think the other thing, like how do I, because I think this one a lot of I don't know about other lectures, I don't know we get you guys, but sometimes we do have the certain ego because we are the lecturers and we are in the professional industry. And you come in, there are students, no matter what, you still have a little bit of ego inside of you. You know, like you are better than them. So how do I keep track with that ego? Is to make sure that I'm a student myself as well. So this is one of the reasons why I take up like jiu-jitsu class. So when I go there, I'm a student, right? So I understand how student feels. At the same time, I'm teaching a student, so I can transfer my knowledge back and forth. Yeah. So it's really these three things. Like first thing is making sure the environment feels comfortable for them. Second things I teach in principles, and the third thing is I make sure that in my life I'm a student as well, so that I understand how a student feel. Yeah, so that's really my, in a sense, my secret recipe lah. Yeah.
That's a
I
lot
love
of
this.
information.
I love this.
What about you, Minkin?
Mm.
What's the sauce?
So for me, the first one is to make friends with them, not trying to act like a boss, you know. The same with Siew Hong. I think the same with Tekman as well. We're trying to build a relationship with students. You know, when we understand each other more, it's easier to communicate and we can build the trust between each other. So when whatever things that you say, they can accept it, they can absorb it easily when they trust you. So yeah, maybe one thing is I like to have lunch with them after the class. I always have
Yeah.
lunch with them, you know, make friends, understand them more, like their background, their hobby, what games they play, what movies they watch. One rule that I always believe is the trust is built when we understand each other. So I also try to share more about myself, you know, my mindset, you know, my attitude when I see certain things, when I face a certain problems, you know, in professional in industry, we have a lot of problems every day need to solve. So I try to share more about my experience and also about my personal stuff lah, all right, so that they can have that kind of feeling that we are making friends, right? So that is the first thing, and the second thing is when talk about teaching in the class. Okay, the content I teach, like I say, is the same lah. Okay, definitely, but that is definitely impossible, you know, using the same way to teach every single students. You know, every student is every different individual, right? So they have different thoughts, different way of talking, different background, family background. Maybe my rule is I try to be patient on every single one. You know, even that some students say that, sir, your assignment I cannot submit today. I don't have any progress because I'm depressed. Something like that. That's happened quite often nowadays.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. There must be a reason. I don't want to assume that you are finding excuse or you are trying to be lazy or what. Okay. So I try to be patient and really sit down and talk to them. You know, some of the students, they just cry in front of you. Then I can really feel that, you know, like feel the empathy to the students and really feel try to help them. I think that is the main thing that I have, you know, when I teach students. Yeah, being patient on everything, you know, even in their not just at their work, maybe their personal stuff they will also ask you sometimes, after you guys we be a friend.
Just now we all agree that nowadays like students will mention that they are a little bit depressed right now, they cannot do their work because of the mentally or whatever. But I'm wondering,
Yeah.
like how you guys help this type of student?
I think really just talk to them, and like what Minkin mentioned, do not assume that they are being lazy or they are just using that as an excuse. Because I felt if you assume that, that's very dangerous. Like, what if they really have depression, and then you say like, "Are you just lazy?" Then they go and kill themselves. Then how? That's very bad. That's like bad shit crazy, right? So I think the first thing is really just try to talk to them and try to understand them. Like, oh, why? What's are you okay? Like, do your parents know about this? Like, are you seeking professional help? Because sometimes they are not depressed, but they think they are depressed. Like maybe they felt like, oh, everything is just really bad. Maybe they are like the very minor risk of being depression. They are not to a point where it's like having suicide thoughts, right? So we have to make sure that they don't go to the suicide thoughts. We have to make sure like bring it back down to the normal level, like the balance level, right? So usually what I do is I will schedule a one-on-one call immediately. Like if I'm available, I'll immediately schedule a one-on-one call with them, and just to make sure they're okay. And because I understand I'm not a professional in terms of like therapies and all, so I wouldn't give too much advice to them as well. I'll just say like, okay, I'm not too sure how can I help you. I'll admit to them, but if you really felt like you're going through depression, why not you try professional help? Right? Then I'll ask them like, are you available in terms of financially? Because I understand art school is quite expensive, right? So I ask them like, are you available financially first? Right? If let's say you felt like financially you are not ready and you felt like the semester is too difficult for you, it's okay, you can defer this semester. You try again next semester, right? So you don't need to pay for the fees for this semester, in a sense, right? So I'll give them a lot of different options that is not, that is not giving advice for the depression side. I'll give them in a more solution where it sense like they can have a space to deal with that problem, right? So this is usually what I do, and just try to be an understanding human being, because at the end they are still human, right? So yeah, that's just try to be understanding for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think do the same thing with Siew Hong, sitting down, talk to the person, talk to the students, just try to be understanding. Also let them know that there is, I will always be there for you. You can let me know if you need any help, even they want to seek for the professional help. Maybe I can help you, to connect that also. So just let them know that we are always there,
I believe three of us here, we are super aligned with this because our principle of teaching is to share and it's to build relationship. That is our principle and the main reason why we teach, right? So no matter how many students we have, we will still help them. We'll try our best to help them, right? I believe everyone also said that, you can talk to me anytime. Just send to me. If I'm busy, I will not reply you lah, but you just send to me, please. Okay, any problem, just come to me. I will talk to you. At least we can have a talk, right? And I also do that, yes. And I can really feel the difference after the talk. I'm not talking about the artwork quality yet. I'm just talking about their mental health, because they are so young. There's still quite a lot of things they can learn, right? I mean, we don't need the student to be like perfect, like super king chow artists in in the school. We don't need that. We just need a decent human being. We just need someone that is have the right attitude to face or to for the future challenge. Can't wait to work, can't wait to learn. That's what we are looking for, right? That is really nice.
I think just now when you guys talking about depression, I felt like when I heard students say that, actually I feel really sad, because art is something, design and art is something that's so enjoyable to do, right? And then when a student come and tell me like, I work assignment until I'm very sad, right? Then I'm like, that's not the way of doing art really, right? Or like doing design, right? So I think one major key thing that, because sometimes what I heard from students also is like, when they tell this to the other lecturers, some other lecturers will say like, they will do the assumption, say like, yeah, you're just being lazy, like I don't want to hear these excuses. So these kind of things really makes me feel very sad, whenever I heard things like that. So I'm actually really happy that, all three of us are, I mean, or a lot of more friends that we know are not someone like that, and hopefully this kind of sharing will really let people understand more, like students are still human at the end. But I also understand, sometimes a full-time lecturer, they might have a lot of things going on in their life, right? They're dealing with a lot of students, so maybe they are not coming from a bad intention. Maybe they are just slip of a tongue, right? It's just like, yeah, whatever, you're just excuses, right? Yeah, so I think advice, I think a good takeaway from this thing is for student. Let's say a student is listening to this. I think a good takeaway is that as much as you need to rush your assignment, you also need to take care of your mental health. I think that is something that is very important. Although I know a lot of people saying that recently, like, oh, take care of mental health, take care of mental health, but it's actually very important, especially during this pandemic time, right? People are so afraid of their physical health because of the COVID, to a point where they forgot about the mental health because they always stay at home, they're not interacting with people. And then slowly they just cope out and things explode. And then they're like, what happened to me? Why am I like that, right? So it's very important, like, go get some workout, move your body a bit, hang out with your friends, chit chat with your friends. So yeah, I think this is will be a good takeaway for students. Take care of your mental health. Then you need to think about assignment. Your assignment is not always the first thing to think about. It's always your health. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yes.
words of
Health
encouragement.
come first.
Amazing. That's the
Yeah, health is
reason
always come first.
why I am doing this. With this bunch of people here, it is so inspiring. I am now learning as a student also, like every single time when I talk to my guests, I am super happy I make this kind of relationship in my career, my life also. Thank you so much, man.
No problem, no
Yeah,
problem.
learn a lot. So
Yeah. And also, as a student, we always have this bar that we want to hit. And the bar is A, B, C, and D, or fail. That is the bar that student is always focusing. But I believe everyone here has a slightly different bar from our lecturer perspective. Sometimes it is just so hard for us to put numbers on their work, because we know that they are not ready yet. I mean, we know that if this out for sure is 1. If you ask me in a production perspective, this is 1. I'm sorry, man. But does that help the student? For sure, no. Right? So how we put the bar is so hard to me. To me, I really find that especially art school, it's so hard to put numbers, but I totally understand, school, there's a system and all, I totally understand that, and I respect that also. So what I want to ask you guys, what is your definition of good and bad student? We don't talk about numbers right now, okay?
Okay. That's a very tricky one, actually. For me, I felt like a good student is not a student that is like really good in terms of their artwork, or like they are striving like very, like sometimes our class have like the best student, right? Like it's very fun to teach them. You give them something, they will excel like crazy, right? So for me, I felt like they are not the best student. That's just them, that's just them being really either hardworking or talented, or like they just work really smart, right? For me, I felt like the best student is always a student that they know they're not good, but they're trying really, really hard. They're constantly putting effort. They're constantly asking you questions. Like even like not teaching hour, like randomly on weekday, they was like, hey, I have some question here and there. Can I ask how to do this? For me, I felt like those are the best student. And at the same time, I also felt like those are the hardest student to teach, because it's very hard. It's easy for you to push. So for me, I set student to 3 category: the student that's about to fail, the medium range student, and the top student. Right? So it's always easy to push the student about to fail to the medium range, but it's very hard to push the medium range to the top student, because that gap is so huge, right? It's like you lifting weights, like you lift 10 kg, then suddenly you ask the person to lift 20 kg, then it's like, how? Right? So I think those are the best students, right? And for me, like what Tekman mentioned, how do you put a number on this kind of student? Do you put them pass, or do you put them like fail, right? So for me, I'll talk to them first. How I arrange the class grading is like I'll talk to the person either in class general, or let's say back then in physical class, I'll talk to them one by one and just ask them like, oh, how do you feel about the assignment? How's everything going? And then I'll just give some feedback to their past work and say like, this is how you can improve. Do you want to improve on this, right? So if let's say they really show enthusiasm, like, yeah, I want to improve, right? And they really did all the improvement, although it didn't hit the benchmark that I really want them to hit, but they still try to squeeze their time amongst all the other 5 subjects that they have.
Oops.
For me, I felt like this student, for me, I felt like this student can pass already. Because I believe that with this attitude in the next semester, he or she might struggle a little bit, but with this attitude, I think it will really push he or she furthermore, with the guidance of the upcoming lecturers in the future. So for me, that's how I set a student to set whether they pass or they fail. Like, of course, for students who fail, that's quite easy to see, because some students, even though they're trying their best, but their work is just really, like, the foundation is not there yet. So although they are trying their best, then I'm like, but I think you still need some time in this semester again next year just to brush up your foundation. Then the next semester they will meet me again because I'll still be the lecturer there.
Okay.
Then I'll say like, okay, for you, my semester, this goal, I don't want you to make like the best design, but I want you to focus on at least your foundation first. You get your foundation right, your design is not very good, but your foundation looks right, your proportion looks correct, your material looks correct, I think you can go forward already. Because when I'm teaching them, my subject is the first subject about design, like concept design. So I can't expect my student to pick up design like right away, right? So design is a long journey, and even until today I'm still learning. So that's how I define whether my student can pass or cannot pass, Yeah. What about Minkin?
So the best students, the best students is always like, they are talented, they're fast learner, but they're still very hardworking. That is the best student, okay? But among all students, that is a minority, I would say, okay? So I would say maybe the good students, okay? The good students will be like what Siew Hong just mentioned. They are constantly putting effort on the assignment, even though they are not that good. They are trying to learn. I mainly focus on the attitude. I will see how you treat your work, how you being, how you try to talk to me, when you ask questions, when I give you feedback, how you address that. That will also be my one of the thing lah, right? Being a good students. The bad students, I would not to say bad students, a poor one. Okay, the poor one is the worst lah. Okay, I will say the worst one is they don't really know what they want to do. Okay, that's the worst. They don't even know that why am I being here? Why I want to learn art? Some of them are just want to come and get a cert. They don't actually know what they want to do in the future. They're just trying to obey their parents. Their parents want them to get a cert, and then they just try to think, what can I learn? I don't want to see a lot of numbers, like I don't want to go learn account. I don't want to learn business because there are a lot of numbers that I need to deal with. Then okay, comes to art. But when it comes in, you can't see the passion from them at all.
Yeah.
That is the worst case, the worst student that I would say lah. Not to say they are bad, in an individual, as an individual personality, they are not bad. They just don't really know what they want. They are lost. That will be the worst one. Okay, that they can't get the motivation at all, no matter what things you say, because that is not the thing they want to do. So that is the definition for me as a good and a bad student, I would say. Yeah.
Which is very weird also, right? Like, why would you come to an art school to just take a cert?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's even harder for you to go to accounting school to take a cert, right?
But they,
It almost
maybe
feels
they
like
don't know
people
before.
force them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
force
that-
you to be in art school, right? That's quite weird, like, to be very honest now.
Yeah.
But that is the how to say the situation lah. We're in the class, for sure there's a bunch of people that is like not so good, the middle one, and then also the good one. My focus is always to push the middle one, like what Siew Hong mentioned, because it's hard to push them to further. But at least I want to align everyone's attitude. That's what we really want to train, right? And for the bad one, some people say, why not you train the bad one to the middle one? Yes, I mean I am trying also, but there is a small little amount of this group, right? They are not trainable.
Yes.
Because they try to avoid you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't even
yeah.
talk to them, right?
Yes,
They'll just
yes.
I don't know lah. Okay, they'll just try to avoid you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is zero chance for us, no matter how much we try lah. Because I always feel like this should be a win-win situation, right? When I teach you, I should learn something from you. I will learn something from you, Soma. I learn the passion from you. This young passion, right? We need that so much. So yeah, lor, this is the situation in that class.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you guys describe the like current student, because like new generation now we are teaching like what 01, 02 year 01, year 02
2000
student,
already,
right?
yeah. 2000
Can
year
you guys
people
like
already, yeah,
describe
yeah.
describe this the current student, and most
I
importantly,
do feel
how
yeah.
to connect with them.
To be fair, I do feel a gap between them, even though I'm not very old, right? I haven't even reached 30 years old, you know. Like I already
Really?
start feeling a gap. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes the thing they talk about, I was like, what the hell is that? You know, then they'll be like, it's a new slang, don't you know, boomer? Then I was like,
Yeah, they call me boomer as well.
yeah, they call me boomer. So I was like, I'm not even boomer, I'm millennial. Yeah, so I do feel there's a gap in terms of the language, the language they use nowadays, right? But I don't see that as a how to say a barrier that stopped me from communicating with them. Right. I do see that as something fun to learn from them. So for example, they will share something very weird to me. Then I'll be like, okay, I don't know what's that. Then I'll just Google with them, and then the thing came out, and everyone laughed in the class, right? So that is like a good moment to build relationship with them, I would say. Yeah, so definitely that's one. Like I do feel a gap. But in terms of the situation with the student now, there's definitely a huge difference between the student now and the student back then when during our age. Or sounds like we are very old, right?
No, we are
like,
not.
Even though it's just like, yeah, we are not really old, but there is a gap already. You know, there's like differences. You know, back then the student always like, it's very funny. Like back then the student can handle way more assignment than the student now. I'm not too sure what's the differences, but my guess, like based on my study and observation, I guess it's mainly because social media, right? Because back then the social media is not as crazy as now. Now the social media, they are like built and designed to make you addicted to them, right? Back then they don't have all this like ads, you know, like algorithm that try to suck you into the thing, right? But now there is, right? And then there are way more information that's easily accessible for students. Maybe because of that, it causes students to lose their focus from time to time. Because even myself face that as well. Like now also, I find it really hard to focus. When I'm during working, I have to like switch off my phone and throw my phone at the further away. So, you know, my girlfriend messaged me, I cannot hear that, you know. So I think maybe that's part of the distraction for the student, right? So there is a generation gap. But I do feel the good thing about them compared to us back then is like their mind is a little bit faster compared to us back then. I'm not saying like we are dumb lah, right? But you can see that they switch things faster than us, right? You say certain things, they're like, oh yeah, then something like that. They're like, oh yeah, like that lor, you know. So maybe because of technology, it helps them switch things faster. You know, they think faster, and then they can grab information faster as well. So maybe that is like a strong side of them. You know, maybe like the downside of them maybe is like distraction. There are a lot of distraction going on for them, so they don't know where to focus. You know, so this is I felt like this is where I come in and to let them know like, yeah, there are distraction out there, but how can you use the distraction for your own benefit, right? So this is how I try to give them some sort of guidelines, you know, some sort of idea how they can like utilize this weakness of them to become their strength. Yeah, so I felt like this is the differences like, between the student back then and the student now. You know, back then the student is like, I don't care, I come here, I just want to draw for life, I don't care about any other thing. You know, like now the student is like, come here and chill, drink Starbucks, you know, like have fun in the class. Like I don't want to do so much assignment. You know, can you reduce the assignment a bit? You know, so yeah, usually the student now is just very different, right? So, but I have my ways to trick them. What I do sometimes is like, actually I didn't reduce, not really mock them. I kind of like trick them psychology. Like I say like, you know, cause my subject have two class. You know, the other class is taught by another lecturer, so it's split into two class. So I always tell them like, you know, my class is a bit different with that class. I give you guys lesser amount of assignment because I focus on quality. Then they'll be like, wow, lesser some assignment. Then I feel very happy with Siew Hong class. Then they will like pay more attention. They'll be more happy in the class, right? So I try to use this way to
But
trick
actually it's
them,
the
lah, you
same,
know. But
right?
now, yeah, actually it's the same. Now that this video is out, they will know like, Siew Hong, this guy bullshit
Yeah
already lah.
lah. They can ask their friend what.
But they never do, right?
Yeah. They're happy
So
already,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, they're happy lah. Yeah. So this is something different I found out.
Mm.
Yeah. What about Megan? Yeah.
To describe the current students, they are smart. Like Siew Hong say, they are smart. They switch things very fast because they grown up, in this internet era. Social media goes crazy. Back then we can't even search, YouTube. Our internet is like very old time. That kind
Super
of
slow.
You have that sound.
Yeah.
When you want to connect the internet, you have to go through that thing.
Yeah.
And then YouTube, you can't search much things, right? So they are growing up in this kind of internet era. They have a bunch of informations coming in their brain every day. So they learn fast, they are smart. But this situation when they get things very easy, there's also a downside, is they're getting a bit more impatience. They're less patience, treating something. They're doing things like very fast, losing their patience. So the old time students, they do something, they can do it for a long time. Do one thing, they can do a lot, they can do a long time. But nowadays students, they're different. Like Siew Hong said, that the assignment is getting lesser, but they're still saying that I don't have enough time to complete the assignment. I don't know why. This is big difference. But that is not a difference between the old generation or younger generation. But I think it's because we are the product of different era. So like Siew Hong said previously, the social media is not that crazy. We can focus easily. Portrait, we can draw 10 in a week. But right now, they draw 1 or 2 when I ask.
Yeah.
But they learn something new. They learn zebras, they learn a lot of stuff, different things. They can get information easily, they can learn zebras by themselves from internet. Back then, we couldn't get an installer some more, So, that's to describe the students right now. The current student nowadays, that they're really smart. But we have to use the other way to teach them, like making friends, and then try to connect with them. Like, how do I connect with them? I also they also say I'm a boomer. I don't know how. I'm millennial. I say I'm millennial. Come on.
Oh my God.
But they say you being like a boomer.
Yeah,
Whatever
okay.
they say from like internet trend. Okay. I can't understand. I don't understand. But I
can only thought
laugh
of
with
it
them.
for
I
that
can laugh
boomer.
together with them. Yeah. When they, like Siew Hong said, they share something weird to me. Not to say weird, something new, okay, something new that I couldn't understand. When I see that, okay, okay, what is that exactly? Can you explain it to me? They just tell, oh, this is that guy do this thing, so come up with this trend. So I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah, so there's I just try to make friends with them. If you want to say how do I connect with them, I have no problem connect with them. They are still friendly, they are still very good, but still very close. It's just, I think, the syllabus, the environment, we living in a different era. That's the main difference between us lah. Yeah, so I think things is getting improved, definitely. So yeah, that's
And we are
that's
getting
my
used
thoughts.
to the teaching online also.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that, to be honest, right now.
Yeah, teaching online.
Okay, now this is a very, very serious and tough questions. We've been talking like how we want to treat our students, how we want to make friends with them, right? We be tolerate to them and all. But can you guys share with all the students, like, what is the difference between working in the industry and also studying in college? What is the big difference?
There is a difference, definitely.
For sure.
Let's start with let's start with maybe the bad one first, I guess. Not to say the bad one, like the more challenging one first, right? I guess the challenge would be you have a different kind of responsibility on your shoulder now. Just like Tekman mentioned just now, your work is to submit to the client already. It's no longer submit to Tekman and like college, or to your parents, right? It's a job. There's a responsibility, there's money involved, there are production involved, there's an actual game, right? So this is the differences already. So there will be some certain level of stress, especially for new joiners. But I would say don't worry about it because there will be people to guide you, as you join a company in the future. That will be the challenging part for a student. But a good side, on the bright side, is that when you work in the industry immediately after you graduate, the way you learn things will be way faster compared when you're learning uh, in college. Because in college you have so many other subjects, right? You have subject A, subject B, subject C, subject D, and then you have to do all the assignment within 1 week, right? So your focus is not laser focus. But when you come to the office, you just have that one task. The whole week, 8 hours a day, you have to do that one task. Confirm you learn way more things compared to in college. So that will be the differences. Cause I always hear people say like, wow, I in the college I cannot learn anything. Then I start working, I learn way more things in college. Then what is the college for, right? And I was like, of course lah. In college you learn different subject. Some are like useless subject. You don't even need to use them, right? Because it's government procedure. You have to learn those subject, right? So of course you will learn way lesser compared when you come into the office. In the office you're forced to do something 8 hours a day. So definitely that will be the bright side of it. You will learn things way faster. And then you have people around you, like industry people around you, to help you, to guide you at the same time. So definitely your improvement will be faster. So that will be the differences for me, at least from when I observe for students. But of course, when we say this, I don't want the students to feel stressed about all these things like shit, then they feel anxiety and all. I think don't worry about all this stress, all this burden and all when it comes to the industry. I think the main thing is just to have fun now as a student, just to enjoy the process, learn things as much as you can, grab here and there as much as you can. Even though you don't know what you want to be after you graduate, you don't know what position you want to be, you don't know which company you want to go, it's okay. So long you learn all the foundation, you understand the things, you have fun. Most importantly is you have fun, right? Then after that, things will be more smooth sailing for you, Don't make this like a torturing thing. Art and design is something for you to have fun. So yeah, that's the differences, I would say.
Yeah, students, you are just responsible for yourself as a student. You do your work, your assignment, the marking, the assessment is on you only, right? But after work, literally it is a job. You get paid. As students, you pay to learn, you pay to do something, you pay the school, right? But after you start working, you get paid to do certain thing. Okay, that's different, right? So the pressure will definitely be different, I will say. Okay, but don't worry about that. Like Siew Hong say lah. Okay, try to enjoy the student life. There's no way back after you start working. Yeah, right. We always want to go back. Like, what we can go back to student that time. Wow, so enjoy lah. We can still play Dota after like 10 p.m. or after the assignment. We can play together, play with the classmate together. But after work, that's a different thing lah. All right. And also as a student, most of your assignment is dealing with just yourself. Okay, but after work, what things you do is gonna affect the whole production line. Included the other departments. Okay, included the client's side. The counterparts, even at their side, that will be also affected. So that is really the big difference of responsibility, I would say. Yeah, that is the biggest difference that I think, right? But students, what you need to do is just enjoy. Okay, try to do your best. When you do assignment, work hard. But when you play, you can play hard as well. Yeah.
Yes, it sounded very scary, to be honest. That's why we are in the school to train people's attitude, to be very honest, because we always feels like if you want to train art, right, yes, we can actually train you in art, and I mean we don't really need to train you because you are surrounded by all the talented people in this studio, right? So I mean eventually you become improved when you look at your senior like, oh my god, 4 p.m. that guy's drinking coffee, eating cake already. I'm like, oh my god, I just started only. Sometimes it's very intimidating. I totally understand that feeling because I am a junior. Before I saw my seniors is reading newspaper. I'm like, what? I'm like, I have to make this right. That guy I'm like, I'm like, oh. So I understand that. Okay, that's why we really want to have a good attitude person to be in the industry. Okay, instead of like a super king. I think not to say we don't want that. If we have that, I mean that's a plus point also lah, right? Yes, and then just now Minken did mention about can't wait. I mean you have to enjoy life in college, because you can't go back to the student and all. But to me, I am totally opposite. I hate my student life a lot, to be honest lah. Because I worked too hard until it kind of traumatized me. I worked too freaking hard. I didn't really go out that much. I didn't play that much of games. It's just all about assignment. I always look at the sunrise and the bird. That I know it's 7 a.m. I'm like, okay, it's time to prepare to college. That's how I do it, and I don't like it because no one is paying me.
That is the main reason I think.
Yes, in fact I have to listen to my mom nagging me. Okay, money is very hard to earn, boy. Okay, don't simply spend your money. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. And then yes, I know, I really know it's hard to earn. It's not easy. I understand that.
You work hard,
Yeah.
but you don't play so hard. That's why.
Yeah, back then. Yeah, that's why I'm enjoying my industry life,
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot about our teaching method and the way we connect with the student. So this very important question: how do you think we can improve further with our way of teaching?
How can we improve ourselves? I think the key point would be first ask yourself, I think first understand yourself. That'd be the most important thing. Like how well do you understand yourself as an artist, as a designer, as a lecturer, right? Like what is your goal when you come into the teaching? Do you come into the class just to teach, or do you want to come into the class to connect with the students and teach at the same time? Or you just want to connect during the teaching hour, and after that you don't want to teach anymore, you don't want to connect anymore. So it's really about understanding that first. What is your goal first? After you understand that, I think there'll be you will find out there's a lot of things you can improve, right? Either your syllabus, the way you deliver your message, the way you connect with your students, the way you start the class, right? How is the environment like? How do you make the student feel comfortable? I think those are this is the first question I have to ask myself, at least for me myself, right? And then in terms of what I can improve, I think every day until today, right? The things that I think can still improve is the syllabus, because the industry is constantly changing, it's constantly improving, right? So for me, I cannot just like the beginning of the semester I start teaching the syllabus until today it never changed. I cannot do that because it'll be unfair for the student today, because things have already changed, right? So my syllabus is constantly changing. My teaching method is constantly changing as well. The way I deliver the message is also constantly changing, right? So I think that is something that I felt like it can be improved from my end, right? And the other thing, I feel like this one is not really improvement, but it's more on like a reminder for myself in terms of ego check, right? How can we deal with ego check, right? Just now I mentioned like all of us confirm we have ego, and doesn't matter like 1% or 100%, right? It just depends on people. So how do we do that? We have to also ask ourselves, when we don't know, we have to let the student know we don't know, but we can find out this answer together. Right, then you just Google together with them when you're sharing screen, right? Then you'll be like, oh yeah, then they'll learn together with you. Maybe they'll give you certain keywords that might help you out as well, right? So I think that is something that I have to remind myself like every day. I cannot just come into the class and say like, I'm the best, you guys suck, listen to me, I can't do that, right? I can't, right? So the student will feel bad as well if I come in like that. So I have to come in like, you know what, let's do this thing together, right? I don't understand certain things, but it's okay, we can figure out together, right? But I understand this kind of concept doesn't work very well with Asian parents. The Asian parents were like, how come your lecturer don't know anything? One? You know, how come they don't know this, how come they don't know that? Then I pay you for what, right? And then usually
so
parents
young,
will say this
your
kind of thing.
lecturer.
Yeah, so you're so young, you know, like how you fail my student, you know, why you think you can fail him, you know? So I know this idea doesn't align with a lot of Asian parents, but then the industry is changing, right? The world is changing as well. The context is different now, right? So we have to evolve based on that as well. So it's always okay to admit that you don't know when it comes to certain things in the class. So this is a constant reminder for me also. Like when I don't know, I have to admit to my class, like I really don't understand this thing. So even I also don't know. What makes you think you can know about this also? You know, you have to look for the references, right? So it's a good reminder to let the student know. It's not to a point like once you go in the industry, you are like an all-knowing being. You know, we are still learning. There are still a lot of things to learn. That will create an environment to let them know like this industry is so interesting. Because even until our level, we still have things that we don't know.
Yep.
There's still so many things for us to learn, like so exciting in the journey, right?
Yep.
So that is a reminder for myself to know how to improve the teaching. I guess the other point, how to improve the teaching is that, I guess sharing to the other lecturers. I think this is something that I need to improve on myself. Like how do I learn some things on my own self, on my own class, and then I share to the other lecturers, so the other lecturers know how to share to his students, right? Because back then I always felt like, I mean this is when the beginning time when I started teaching, I always felt like, oh, I have my own syllabus, my own things, right? I want to make sure my student is the best. Then I realized like, but that wasn't my goal. My goal is to share, right? Share to student already. I can also share to lecturer, right? So the lecturer know how do I teach, how the industry people are learning, what other industry people are learning. So I think that is something that can be improved, you know, like share. Just again, it's also ego. Like just put down an ego and share to the other lecturer. Even though you might feel like that lecturer is not teaching as well as you, but it's fine. You know, they also do not understand. Maybe they know certain things that you don't know. So why not just share their methods to them, right? So why I say this is also because recently I tried out. You know, I really try to share it to other lecturers, and I see how the other lecturers use my material on their student. I can see that their student in the student in their class improve a lot as well because of that few principles or like the few things that I shared to them. So I think this is something that we can improve further. You know, just share to everyone. You know, it's not like last time like the kung fu lah. You know, like I have my own secret kung fu technique. Like cannot teach you, if not, right? Things are so different now. You know, you look at the Western people; they're just sharing everything. You know, like, you look at Unreal Engine; they're sharing everything for free, right? So no point in keeping your own secret anymore, right? So yeah, I think that is something that can be improved lah. I think from my end, yeah. And then maybe I can talk a little bit more about what is the whole industry can be improved upon. I think this is something I thought about as well. Like what we can do together to improve the industry is that we need to start listening to students. So what I meant by that is like, because for me, every half of the semester, I'll send out a questionnaire to my students. And I ask them like, how are they doing in the class? You know, which part you don't understand, which part you understand the most, what are the feedback you want to give me personally. Doesn't affect your grading, you can just tell me straight away, you know. I think college do that, but I'm not too sure how well are they receiving the feedback or how well are they implementing the feedback. This one I'm not too sure, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. But I constantly hear things from students saying like, oh, you know, that subject not really helpful, or like that lecturer things I don't really understand here and there, you know. So I think as a lecturer, in general, I felt like we all should start listening to the student and say like, if there's a data that coming back like maybe more than 50% saying like they don't understand your material, means that there is something wrong with your material that you are not connecting with them. Maybe it's not to say like it's not to say the lecturer knowledge is bad. It's just that maybe the way they deliver it or the way they structure it, the student cannot understand it, right? So I felt like as the community as a whole, as a lecturer, right, we need to start listening to the students and you know, keep track with the data and fix things from there also, so we know how to bridge the gap between the students and lecturers, so the students will learn things from us in a better way, I would say. Yeah.
Eye-opening.
I guess that also sums it up in communication, right? So if you communicate more with your students, you know what they want, you know what they can absorb, what they cannot absorb, right? So yeah, lor. I think those are the few things that I believe that the industry can be improved and how I myself can improve. Wow, flat on it.
Amazing.
So informative. Really.
Thank you very much.
There's so many things I can improve.
Yeah, so many things I can improve. After listen your point of view, you know, the things that you did sending the questionnaire to students, in the mid of the semester. These are the things that that's the thing that I never did before. So, yeah, things that can be improved still. Many.
Maybe we can do.
Yep.
Maybe we can talk about that in the next podcast.
Uh,
Next topic, yo.
yeah. So, in my opinion, that things to improve, there are too many ways, right? That there are many things that we can improve, like how we speak, how we start the class, like Siew Hong just mentioned, the content and everything, and then the industry is keep on moving, constantly improving. It includes software, skill, everything, the knowledges and everything is keep on improving, and we have to keep up to date to these latest update and transfer it to students. So I would say there's no definite thing that I want to improve. I already stopped teaching for now, but in future I still want to go back to teach, definitely. But that is good lah. Okay, to recall back, I think I still follow the main principle is I want to nurture and help them to grow in their attitude, their personality, their mindset. So the main thing that I am thinking about to improve is to spend more time interacting with student instead of giving knowledge, like content, like do this step 1, step 2, step 3, then you can achieve this. But more like how to inspire them, how to motivate them, how to make them as a better human being. Because in the industry it's not just about your work, your skill. In any industry it's the same thing. You go to ask any industry people, other industry, not just art industry, you can ask them, okay, is that your main primary criteria, okay, as an excellent person in your industry, is it mainly just because of skill? Their answer will always say no. Okay, there are too many factors. Your communication skill, okay, your leaderships, your problem solving skill, okay, how you react when you facing certain issue, how do you adapt to a team. These are the things that we should be focusing more as an educator. The skill, the technique and stuff like that, to be honest, we can quite easily to find it online nowadays. But our main function is to inspire them, to let them know that this industry, how good is this industry right now, and what is the current status in the industry now in our country, right? And does the future look hopeful or bright? These are the things that we want to bring to students. So there are too many things to improve, like the detail that we point out. How do we start? Okay, the content and everything, how do we speak? These definitely there is no end point of this improvement. But we still need to go back to our core objective of teaching. That is what I think. Yep.
Very informative also.
This really need to clap, seriously. It's amazing. I learned so much from both of you, and I really thought that working on this podcast interview series thing, it can really push myself also in a way I can also share these informations to more people, more lecturer or even students, to really tell them that there's a lot of lecturers in this industry is still trying their really best to teach students, right? We are also learning. Same to you all, as a student, we will keep learning together, right? Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I only have this one last one. It's been more than an hour already, but I only have this one last one. Okay, what's next for you now that everyone here, like Siew Hong is the lead concept artist, Kian is the lead modeler? What's next for you, like personally? Will you continue to teach?
Yeah, for me, definitely I'll continue to teach. I think, but I felt I wouldn't go full time into teaching. I'll still do it as a part-time thing. Reason being is because I felt like if I go full-time, means that I'm gonna stop learning as much when I'm doing in the industry. Like my knowledge in the industry will be slowing down, right? I can do freelance and all, but I felt like it will be different compared to working in a team. So I will never do for now, at least for now, I will never do full-time teaching. I will still do like a part-time thing so I can transfer knowledge from the industry to the students, so it's like a nice cycle there.
Nice.
Yeah, so in terms of teaching, I'll definitely keep doing that. I really enjoy doing that. And building relationship with the students is very fun as well, and at the same time, I guess in the future, I'm not too sure yet, but I do have certain plans, like maybe in the future I might start my own mentorship things, right? So it's a better, more meaningful one-on-one interaction with a student or with a mentee, right? So that is something that I have in mind that's currently planning, right? I mean, this is on the education side. Yeah, but in terms of like my full-time job and all, I felt like those things will continue going. I'll still be in the industry. I don't think I'll ever leave the industry because I really love design and there's so much to learn. But then again, I'm a slightly different kind of artist or designer. Like I don't know any of you notice, like you do realize that I don't have a lot of personal work. Most of my work is like client
I
works.
don't have
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, maybe kid.
Yeah, like for me, I just felt like maybe it sounds very controversial for certain concept artists, but for me, I felt like after working hour, I don't really want to do my own personal work. I really want to enjoy my life, go jujitsu, learn something entirely new and different, and has nothing to do with design and art. Yes, maybe I'll like go to museum, I'll check out exhibition, and learn things from there. But it's more on observations, not really on technique and skill. So for me, I felt like I would want to explore something more outside of art as like maybe a part-time thing, or like maybe in the future it could be like a retirement plan. I'm not too sure, right? Maybe a business or something like that. Yeah, so that's really like my future plan. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
What about you, Minkin?
For me, one of the questions that Tekman just asked, would you still continue teaching? Yeah, I'm considering still continuing the teaching because I'm making my tutorial, okay, the video tutorial. I'm not teaching in the school anymore right now, but I will definitely want to go back and teach and contribute to the industry, definitely. For now, I'm more focused on my personal projects, okay, freelancing or making my own tutorials. And after that, I think the main thing that I want to do is to improve myself right now, in terms of skill as well. I think overall, I need to improve myself, and after that, I will still go back to teach. That is for the education side, right? But my full-time job, I'm still I just started my lead role not long ago, and still a lot to learn.
High five.
Yeah,
Let's go together.
yeah, still a lot to learn, and would like to focus on the team. To build the team, focus on the people in the team. Like building a better system, better environment so that the team can grow faster, grow better, and still have a good well-being of everyone in the team, and to achieve our goal, to become a full-fledged developer in Malaysia. Yeah, that is the future plan for now.
Oh yes. Yeah, thank you so much
Nice.
to both of you. My personal future plan is to grow this channel. So if anyone here is interested in such topic, please like and subscribe. You see, I'm doing it like more natural already right now, right?
Yeah. I can see the
Not
improvement. I
pushy,
can see
not
the improvement.
pushy, but on point, right?
Nice segue.
Yeah. In terms of teaching, yes, for sure, I will still teach with the school because I also want to learn about the school system and all. I'm interested in learning that also lah. I always want to make the balance because like whatever we have mentioned here is all from our own perspective and we totally understand that when you have a school, there's a lot of system that you have to follow. There's a lot of rules and regulations that you have to balance. So that is something that believe now I believe the One Academy is doing quite well. Not to say that I'm promoting them, because I mean, all of us, we are from that school and we are teaching there, right? It's automatically lah. We are doing quite well in terms of balancing that lah. Okay, and also it is nice to learn that we still have all these passionate part-time lecturers teaching in the school also. So that's what I will still there. I'll still be there, and I will also work on my personal workshop or my personal online recording tutorials like Min Kian. I also hope that I can give more to the industry. I can contribute back more to the industry, like my knowledge, the way I animate, the way maybe one day the way I teach. I don't know, like Siew Hong. Siew Hong can have a master class already. Right, everyone can listen this interview series today. For my personal goal, I'm quite similar to Min Kian. I still want to build the team further and better. There's still a lot to learn now. The team is getting bigger. I never find a day that like, oh, this is so easy. This okay, never mind. I can just sleep. Come back and do. It's always like, oh, this is so tough. Let me sleep first.
Yeah.
I come back, I'll do better. Let me rest first. Let me rest first. Okay, come back, I'll do better. Sleep. Come back. Let's do it. I mean, there's still a lot of things to learn. I believe we are still, I would say the motivation level is still quite high. Everything is so new. It's still so exciting. And yeah, we gotta keep it up. All right, thank you again, both of you joining to this interview series. I hope everyone here learned a thing or two. It's been amazing. It's fruitful sessions. If anyone here has any questions, you can ask the question in the comment below, because I do not have much subscriber. I do not have much viewer, so I can for sure reply all of your comments. And then also I'll put Siew Hong's link and also Min Kian's link down there if you guys want to contact them for whatever thing, personal consultation or whatever. Maybe you can try us. Right? Or you guys can just enjoy their work.
Before we end the call, maybe I can ask you a question. Right? I can ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Cause this is all about education, right? So maybe I think to end it in a more meaningful way, we can say, maybe you can give some sort of advice that you might want to give to the students who are listening to the podcast. Yeah. Maybe Min Kian, you want to go first?
That's nice.
Give students, right, advice.
Yeah, an advice that you think is the most helpful one out of so many advice. I'm pretty sure you have a lot. Yeah, what would be
many.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah.
Let me think.
I have one already. I can go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is not mainly to students, that it is to anyone that find it helpful. I always think that you don't need to wait for opportunity for you to perform. There's never gonna have opportunity for you to perform. You have to perform to have opportunity. So it is the concept actually apply to me. I do not have I always say that I do not have this opportunity, so I don't do this. Let me wait for the opportunity first, then only I perform. Now I hold back. I'll wait for that moment. Okay. But when that moment will come, it will never come if you don't work on it. Right? It's just like me working on this YouTube thing. Yes, it's a lot of work and all, but I find it meaningful and I love doing it. I love talking to people. And I believe if I do that, it will create more opportunity to me. I believe that. And for now, still don't have much yet but I believe that. And I want to have more opportunity. That's why I do. Yeah, that's what I have for students.
Okay, then my side. Try, do your best. Know about yourself. I would say what you want to do. Okay, what you want to be. If you really want to work in this industry, just work hard, work your ass off. And just like playing a game, some players they just want to be the best. Some players just want to win the game, But some players just say, "This is just a game. Why so serious?" So just think about yourself. Okay, what you want. Okay, if you want to be that, doesn't matter to lose the game type of player, then just go ahead. But if you want to be the winner, please work your ass off.
So this is like an RPG game, is it?
It's a game. It's a very long game.
It's a long, long game. Siew Hong,
Yeah,
Siew Hong,
yeah, I agree with Min Kian lah. Yeah, mine is somewhat similar with Min Kian, but most importantly is to have fun. I think this is for me, whatever I do, I make sure that it's fun. Although yeah, it can be challenging, it can be very tough, but ultimately I'll ask myself, is it fun? Is it fun for me? Is it meaningful for me to do this? If it's very torturing to a point where it's not meaningful at all, it's not something that's aligned with your goal or aligned with your principle or your trust, then I think maybe that thing is not, you're not doing certain things right, or you're not doing things that is aligned with your own goal, right? So I think yes, you have to work hard, work smart, but at the same time you need to make sure that you're having fun in the whole process, right? But I think one more thing that come to my mind is that I understand now social media is very powerful, right? You can get quotes everywhere. People say like, oh, if you stop working one day, people are improving faster than you, or if you say like, people say like, oh, if you take rest, then they are improving faster. Or you look at Elon Musk, he's never sleeps, working hard. For me, I just like shut the hell up, like just focus on yourself. Don't need to listen to this thing. Like, if everyone can focus on the code, there'll be so many Elon Musk in the world, right? How come there's only one Elon Musk? It means that not every one of us has a formula to follow, and then you'll be successful. Those formula, yes, they are good as a motivational quote, but you shouldn't feel bad about yourself when you are not like doing your own personal work, or you are not improving faster than another classmate of yours. Take your own time, take your own pace. Make sure that your health is important. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. There's so much more years for you to improve in the future. Like you're only like 20 plus years old if you're a student, right? If you're even in the industry, let's say you're 30 plus years old, I still don't think it's too late. You look at a lot of like concept artists that are very famous. One of these artists called Jama, like shout out to him. He's like 30 plus years old. I think he's an engineer before he become a concept artist. And then from there, he's like, I want to learn design. Then he just start learning design and everything. Now he's like the best, one of the best in the industry. So I don't think there's ever too late. It's always a marathon. Take your time. Make sure you enjoy the process and make sure you learn a lot of things throughout the process. Then, yeah, I think that will be a more meaningful journey for everyone. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Wow, I like this sound effect. It just perfectly matched with the situation, Okay.
It feels like a physical event already.
Yeah, that's how we enjoy ourselves here. Okay, that's about it. Everyone, thank you so much. Please like, follow, and subscribe this channel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please do.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.